Are you someone working on your backswing, trying to improve it? Well, in this video, we're going to go through 3 things that can help you improve your backswing. So welcome back to the Forest of Arden, where in this video, I'm going to show you 3 ways that you can improve your backswing to give you better shots out on the golf course. Now, just before we get started, we have very recently released the dates for this year's golf schools here at the HIT Golf Academy. These are 1-day golf schools, so if you are somewhere in the world where you can get here for a day, we would love to have you and hopefully help you with your golf game this year. I'll pop a little image over here of the dates, but if you'd like to contact me, my email is chris@chrisryanGolf.com, and I can send you some more information, including the itinerary and the price for those days. Right, backswing. We're going to show you 3 common faults that I see in a golfer's backswing, which in turn can cause them to hit some poorer shots out on the golf course. The first thing we're going to talk about is making what we call a centered turn. So we're talking very much looking at the front view and how a golfer rotates into their backswing. It would be very, very uncommon to see a golfer move towards the target as they swing the club back. It would, however, be quite common to see a golfer move off the ball as they make their backswing. Very often this is because a golfer's trying to get more weight onto this trail leg, and that can see them move this way in the backswing. As you can imagine from there, it can be really difficult to get back onto that lead side, and so we struggle with impact, contact, high ball flights, those kind of things. Great little exercise that you can do in practice. You'll notice I've got my alignment stick here with a head cover just over it. Now, when I take my starting position to this golf ball, I can just about see the ball in front of the alignment stick. If I make a backswing and I make that centered turn, that ball is still visible to me. If, as I make my backswing, I move off the golf ball onto this side, suddenly that ball disappears behind the head cover. So we know that when we're practicing, it's really all about creating a situation or a station where you can get some feedback for what you're doing. This is exactly doing that for me. I can see straight away when I make a backswing, have I stayed over the golf ball or have I moved to the right-hand side? So as we do this, it's going to feel like when you get to the top, it will feel like you haven't moved weight onto your trail leg. That's absolutely fine. Don't go searching for that feeling, because that's when we get that sway. We don't move the weight, we move the pressure. When you're swinging that golf club without stopping, your pressure will be shifting, but your weight will not be moving onto that trail side. So, can be a little bit off-putting initially hitting balls in this situation, but take your setup, make sure you can see the ball. Top of the backswing, you should still be able to see it. And if you can do that, it's going to ensure you're making a centered turn. Right, that's the first thing that can help you with your backswing. The second thing is all about rotating the lower body. Now, this second point is actually quite closely linked to the first point that we've already discussed. And we discussed in the lower body, so that's the knees and the hips and how much they rotate in the backswing. It's still very, very common to see a golfer kind of restricting what they do with their legs. That's their hips and their knees. So when we make a backswing, we often don't get enough rotation through the hips, and we don't get enough what we call change in flex of the knees. Now, because there's a little bit of a restriction here, we often see that manifest itself in a little bit of a sway off the ball, because there's a lot of resistance to turn, and that tends to kind of force us off the golf ball. So what we'd be looking to do as you make a backswing? Well, a great feel for you would be to try and look for, and this down the line view, a bit of daylight between the knees. So as I make my backswing and I make a more unrestricted turn, you can see how there's a little bit of daylight between my legs. The reason that's happened is because I've turned my hips on this good angle, and I've turned my hips a good amount, my trail leg has begun to lose some of the flex it had at address. My lead leg has started to increase in flex. That change in that movement allows me to then see between those legs, and that's a great visual for you. How do I feel like I achieve that? Well, for me, a great idea would be to think of this back pocket on your trousers, and as you make your backswing, get that to face the target. Target being obviously down here towards that green. So as I make my backswing, I rotate that pocket and feel like I point it towards that target. It's a feeling, it's a concept, but it's great to help you create that better turn in the lower body. If we get a little bit more freedom in that turn, we tend to allow the upper body to function better. Again, get a little bit more rotation here, and that's going to help us hit better shots in terms of distance and speed. But the better we rotate, the more likely we are to stay centered. So as we said a moment ago, the first and the second points here are very, very closely linked. So great little exercise for you. Back pocket, face the target, daylight between the knees. That's going to get you a freer hip turn, more speed and more distance on those golf shots. Third point, we are now talking about the golf club. So the first two have really been focusing on the body, but this third one is going to discuss the golf club itself. So very, very common for me to see a golfer get that golf club too flat in the backswing. You can see here how the club shaft points very much outside of the golf ball. A flat club shaft halfway back tends to want to, in transition, steepen. If it steepens in transition when you start down, we get the golf club far too steep. It becomes very, very difficult from here to play the game well and play the game consistently. We would tend to see, as a pattern from the better golfers, we would tend to see the golf club being a little bit steeper at this halfway back position, because the opposite to what happens before, we can take this steeper golf club and in transition we can start to shallow it a little bit. Then in transition we get the golf club onto a much better angle, and when we get that golf club onto a much better angle, we're then allowed to rotate better, get the handle more forward, control the loft, hit the ground after the ball, all of those things that we'd like to do, which we know are probably going to give us better golf shots. This is something that I'm working on my golf swing, so I do tend to get the club too flat early on, steepen it in transition. I know that when I can do this better, it helps me with the shots that I hit as well. So here's a great little exercise for you. Take your starting position and visualize a channel between the ball and your toe, so in kind of this area here. And when your lead arm reaches level with the ground, you're going to try and get the golf club to point into that channel. Now, exactly where it is in there is kind of irrelevant. We just want to get that feeling of that club shaft being a little bit steeper. Notice how when I'm doing that, I'm still trying to make that center turn and that good free rotation of the body. So I can actually hit shots from that halfway back position. Get myself set up, get that club into that zone, turn up, and then hit it from there. So I'm starting to blend that into a golf swing. To go at full speed and do that correctly is going to be very difficult. But I can tell you, if you can get that club shaft a little steeper halfway back, you're more likely to do other things in there that are good. Too flat early, and you're going to steepen it, and you're going to hit those shots that we maybe experience on the course, the fades, the fats, the high shots, the weak contacts, those kind of things as well. So 3 things that I think could help a lot of people with their backswing. I do see so many golfers swaying off the ball. I see so many golfers restricting what they do in their hips, and I see so many golfers rolling the club inside and getting the club shaft too flat. There's not a great chance that you'll be doing all 3 wrong. So what I'd like you to do is maybe video your golf swing and have a little checklist and just see whether you're falling into any of these habits, and then you can do a bit of work on improving them. Thank you very much for watching. I really hope that helps. Usual stuff is below this video. There's a comments box down there, there's a like button, and also I would love you to be a subscriber of the channel if you're not already. There's more content coming each and every week, helping you play some better golf, understand your golf swing, and have some more fun out on the golf course. There is a link in the description box. There's also a clickable link over here which will allow you to do just that. Thank you very much for watching. We'll see you back here again soon.